All right, hey guys, Jason here. We're up here. This is actually a Nissan dealer here. I'm on my way to South Carolina by Myrtle Beach to go shoot a wedding tomorrow. And I got to be up early in the morning. And it's about 5 hours from my house. So I'm heading up there now to go get a hotel for the night, but hitting some dealerships on the way. And we're up here at this Nissan dealer. Just got done talking about the Frontier over there, but we're looking at this now. This is a used Gladiator right here. It's a 2020 Gladiator and a good looking truck. Looks really nice, and you can see it's got a lift on there, and they got some bigger tires. And what do they got on this thing? These are 35 1250s right there. Now you can also see these wheels. Okay, so we got stock Jeep wheels on here, and I am curious as to, I want to show you something in here that we want to talk about before we do, but let's just look at it for a second. Tell me that's not a sharp looking vehicle. Now they're going to sell this as a used vehicle. They probably took it in on trade. They got it all cleaned up, and this thing's going to be sold. And I don't know why it has this vehicle not for sale. See the dealer for resale date. And maybe they're going to change this. I'm not sure that that's the case. But what we got here is we do have an issue that you got to watch out for, because we love lifted Jeeps, we love lifted Gladiators, we love the looks of these, we love the looks of 35s, we love all of that kind of stuff we got on here. However, this particular Jeep is not done the right way. So if you look at the offset of these wheels, see how far those tires stick out of those fenders? Okay, those are 35 1250s. Now mine, sitting right here, is a 35 1150 on stock wheels. Now stock wheels, okay, stock offset for the most part, but is what we're talking about. But look at even mine, even though they're 11 inch narrower, but look at how they stay. I know shadows are tough, but see how they're tucked in there? Okay, they're not sticking out so far like that. And then you look at this one, and they stick out a lot. Not only does the tire, look how far out that wheel is. Now, how did they do this? Why is that way? What does it matter to you? See how far those stick out? Look at them poking way out past those fenders. And what we have here is we have a wheel spacer. Inside of there, you can see that in there a little bit. I don't have my flashlight with me, but you can see that big chunk of metal in there. That is a wheel spacer. How does a wheel spacer work? A wheel spacer is a chunk of aluminum that you take the tire off, you take everything off, and then you mount that on there with the lug nuts. Okay, boom, 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 it mounts on there. That wheel spacer now has its own lug nuts, which are lugs that these are now mounted to. So it's about that thick or whatever it is of a wheel spacer that goes between the wheel and the actual hub. And it moves, it takes that whole wheel assembly and it moves it out. And that's what it does. It's a wheel spacer. Look at how far those back tires stick out of this thing. Look at this. See how far they are out of the fenders? I mean, that's crazy that they stick out as far as they do. Look at it, even the whole wheel does. That is a wheel spacer. You can see in there how far down back that goes into there. Okay, that's a spacer that's actually in there. What's the problem with wheel spacers? And first of all, I don't have a problem with people running them, because if you own a truck, you know it and you're going to use it and you understand the limitations of it. You know that when you go get your tires rotated, you have to do it. You know that you have to pull them off regularly and retorque those bolts that hold on to wheel spacers. You know all of this stuff because you put them on there. You know they're going to vibrate. You know you're going to get a lot of, when you're on highway speeds, you're going to feel it. You know all of this kind of stuff. You know it because it's yours and you chose to put them on there, and when you did it. However, when you have a vehicle like that that's at a dealer that somebody's going to come in here and buy that doesn't know any better, which is a lot of people. Remember, most people don't even understand that four-wheel drive is not real four-wheel drive. So they see this and they want to buy it as a mall crawler and they're all excited, yet they don't know or understand that there are wheel spacers in this. Think about the liability factor of that if this thing goes down the road and one of these wheels come off on it. Okay, these are dangerous things, especially when you're doing 80 miles an hour. We're in Georgia heading to South Carolina on I-95. You ever drove I-95 before? Let me just tell you that it's very common when traffic's moving. It's very common for cars to be, going 90 miles an hour. Very, very common on this road. So they're whipping by you and they're moving. And if you're one of these ones running 90 miles an hour on wheel spacers, you're in trouble. And what about the people that buy it that don't know that they're on wheel spacers? See what I'm getting at? I don't think it should be right for legal for a dealership, which they know. Okay, people know. Anybody that knows cars, which you would expect a dealership to know cars, looks at this and immediately says wheel spacers. Immediately, we know it instantly. And maybe I'm hoping that the reason that this sticker is here is because they're going to do something about this. They're going to fix this. But we've also seen other Jeep dealers selling vehicles with wheel spacers on them. It's not the first time we've seen it. And again, that's a very weird, touchy kind of thing for me that I'm not 100% comfortable with. This vehicle is dangerous. Again, not that the wheel spacers themselves are horribly dangerous. I think they are, but they require so much attention to detail with them, and constant tightening and constant assessment and constant everything. But like I said, somebody buys that, they don't even know it's there. Look at here, we got a Nissan Frontier. We got a Pro 4X used one. This is the only Pro 4X on this entire lot that is here. There is a Pro X and two SVs over there that are two-wheel drive, but this is the only one on here. And I'm assuming this is used 2023, used right here. They're looking for $36,000 on this thing. I'm trying to see how many miles are on it. Just for kicks, 2023. It doesn't say how many miles on it, so it does not, so I don't know. Oh wait, maybe right here. 35,000 miles on it. I'm thinking that. No, I don't know if that's 35,000 miles, but there it is for you right there. Pro 4X for that kind of price. Very interesting. I don't have my flashlight with me to see. It probably says on here 37 right there. 37. You can see it there. Sorry, I don't have my flashlight. Like I said, going to shoot a wedding. 37,000 miles on this thing right there, and look at that price. So those people, look at $35,900 for this truck. It's a 2023, and I'll bet you could have bought this in 2023 brand new for this exact price all day long, without fail, without question. You could have bought this. And think about that for all the people who are like, oh, it'll never hold its value. Nissan's horrible. They don't hold their value at all. It was listed for $40,450. And now it's down to 36,000, and it's got 37,000 miles on it, and it's technically almost 3 years old. 2026s are coming out real soon. It's almost 3 years old. And look at the price. Look at that number. They're pulling in on that. Tell me that's not incredible. So Nissan is killing it. They are doing such a good job. I love this truck. I love everything about this Frontier, especially the Pro 4X trim. God, I love this. It's just such an amazing truck all the way around. We're just up here seeing it and seeing what's going on. But back to the key thing here. Like I said, be careful. If you're looking for used Jeeps, remember that people do all sorts of weird stuff to them to try and make them nice, make them look the way they want, try and build them up the way they want. And that's exactly what somebody did here. Somebody wanted this thing to look tough and aggressive and give it that stance, yet they did not want to spend the money in wheels. So rather than spend $800 in rims, they chose to spend $250 in wheel spacers to kick them out like this. That's what they did. They took the cheap route to do it. It's almost like putting a puck in there for a lift kit. It's a cheap way out that doesn't have the benefit. And I don't even mind the puck lift kits because they don't really cause any concern. But these wheel spacers, I'm not all right with, and I'm definitely not okay with a dealer selling a vehicle with them on it, especially to people that don't know any better. They come in and they go, oh, I like that one. That one looks really tough. That one looks tough. How much is that one? He tells them, they're like, great, I can afford that. Let's take it. And then this thing goes down the road at 90 miles an hour and we got major problems. So like I said, it's kind of crazy that this stuff happens, but I'd like to know your thoughts on it. Where are you feeling? What are you thinking? Should dealers be allowed to sell stuff like that? It blows my mind that they do, and maybe this one won't. It does say it's not for sale. Maybe they're going to swap these out and do something different with them to be good. I don't know. But we have seen other dealers that do sell them that way. What's your thoughts? Thanks for watching.